Hi, welcome back to Jen's Addiction. I'm so glad you came back to see me today for my very first holiday special. That is correct. I decided it would be fun to do something a little festive this holiday season. And this is going to be some of my favorite gifts to receive and favorite gifts to give for the holiday season. We happen to celebrate Christmas, so I may say Christmas a few times, but whatever holiday you happen to celebrate, or it could be for a birthday. It could be for Valentine's Day. We have a lot of things coming up. There's always something going on, and there's always a need. It seems like that we have a present to buy, something to celebrate. So I think these will transfer to anything in your life. I again mentioned that I like to receive these things. Perhaps these are things that would spark your interest, things that you maybe haven't thought about or had forgotten about that you could ask for when someone says, "What do you want for Christmas?" It's transferable in some capacity to anything that you may collect. It's kind of the spirit of the idea behind these items. Obviously, some of these are very vinyl specific ideas, but I think as we sort of walk through a few of these, you'll understand that you could take something that you use to display a record and transfer that into finding something to display a favorite book or a trading card or a collectible sports item. You get the gist, right? So I'm super happy that you all tuned in today. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Happy holidays. I'm so glad that you are here. And if you are coming back for more, hello again. I'm so happy to see all of you here with me to celebrate this holiday season. If you've not hit like and subscribe already, that would be a great Christmas gift for me. I would love that so, so much. It means an awful lot. I know people say it all the time, but it really does help small channels. It helps us kind of to keep going, gives us a little motivation, helps us to be seen and draw more people in, which is kind of what it's all about, to sort of get this bigger collective going of music lovers. And in my case, in my channel, maybe monster lovers and comic lovers from time to time, just to have fun conversations. Not everybody in our lives is as passionate about the things that we love as we are. So it's a great way to stretch our wings a little bit, expand, meet new people, and talk about our passion for music. And that is what it is all about. So I'm going to walk through again. These are things that I love to give as gifts, things I like to receive as gifts. I'm not promoting any special products or anything today. These are just things that I maybe have on hand. I may pop up a few pictures here and there if I think that it's applicable to show, just to give kind of displays and ideas. But just keep in mind, you do you. If you have a record cleaner, I'm going to mention here in a minute, that you love to use, put it in the comments below. Let other people know what you've had success with, what you love to give as a gift and receive. I'm open to any suggestions, but again, nothing here is sponsored. Nothing here is being shown for any other reason than display purposes. It's what I may use or I have on hand. And I'm always wanting to learn something that may be better, or improve upon what I already do. So that being said, let's dig into some gift giving ideas. So, like I mentioned right out of the gate, I think the standards, if you are a vinyl collector, if you are new to vinyl collecting, are going to be the things that you need to keep your investment safe and sound. And that would be things to clean and care and store for your record collection. So, kind of at the very, very beginning, you'll want to make sure that if you're not asking for it, record cleaners, stylus cleaners, there are so many different ones out there. This is like one I've had for a while. It's a vinyl stylus. It has that more velvety texture. I can brush it off, sort of clean it. It's kind of what I would use with a liquid cleaner. This is an anti-static spray. This is one of the liquid cleaners that you would use, all that together. But I would use that after I like to kind of take a nice anti-static brush. It's really, really soft, and just brush my records off, get all the surface dust and dirt that I can off of it before I add liquid to my records. That way you aren't making mud, right? You want to lift all that stuff out of the grooves. I am looking at a record cleaning system, something like, Groove Washer, like oh gosh, I can't think of any of the names now, but like the actual systems where you kind of put the record in and it slowly rotates them and cleans them and dries them. And I'm looking for something like that. I definitely want something like that. But if the person you're shopping for is new to record collecting, maybe they're a little younger and they have things to learn. And, I started collecting records at 8, 9 years old. I don't think giving me a gift of a high-end record cleaner would have necessarily have been the way to go for my parents. But something like this could have, teaching kind of that personal responsibility and care for the things that you love. Nothing wrong with that. Good cloths. I have some friends who absolutely swear by using just some really good cloths that you can even wash and dry. And use a few times before you discard them and do something else with them. And then lastly, on this same vein, is stylus cleaners. This is one I had a long time ago, and it is not my favorite, but I will show you. It's almost like a mascara wand. It's much more rigid. These bristles are probably softer than a mascara brush would be. But what I really like is something a lot softer. I stopped using that. And this one happens to be by Groove Washer. It comes with a liquid. So you put this little liquid on the end. I think you can kind of see. And that is a real soft bristle that I can just kind of use. It's, clean, get my stylus clean and not feel like I'm going to break my needle. I don't, but I have something to keep it in, to keep it kind of dust free. But there are some great kits out there, not just by Groove Washer, but by many different brands that combine stylus cleaners and the actual kind of pads and reusable cleaners all together. I think that's an awesome gift. I mean, the idea behind gift giving sometimes is to get people things they may not buy themselves. You kind of spend a little more money maybe during the holidays, you zhuzh it up a little bit more. And so I think that is such a thoughtful gift to give them a full, more comprehensive cleaning system that addresses all aspects of keeping, the needle clean. I mean, if you can clean your record all day long, but the needles are going to get dirty, that impairs your sound quality. I mean, they all go hand in hand. Many of you guys know that. I'm not telling you anything new. But if you're a novice at record collecting, you just may not think about that stuff right away. Just for giggles, part of what I liked about Groove Washer was because I think they maybe had the rights to disc washer. This is my original disc washer cleaner. I had the box and everything for this up until about a year ago when Gracie ate it. You can see her chin marks. If somebody gave me a complete disc washer vintage, whether I used it or not, just because, I mean, that's the bottle it all came in. And I loved how it all slid inside and that was a stylus cleaner then. Actually, I think, oh my God, I would really just use that to clean off the velvet pad. I don't think I ever use that. Probably use it on my stuff. Who knows? Who knows? But at least I had something. But I love stuff like this. I mean, that's real wood. I mean, they just don't make them much like this anymore. But I would love a vintage piece like that. So keep that in mind. Maybe somebody in your life would love something like that too. If their dog doesn't eat it, she's laying down here at my feet, so sweet. She doesn't know I'm talking about her. The other thing I would say too, if you are buying stocking stuffers, fun things, I like to get stuff like the inserts for your 45s. I like to buy these and keep them permanently in certain 45s so I don't have to keep adding or taking them out. This is one I picked up at Third Man Records. So if you find something that's maybe specific or has a band on it or a place that you visited, I pick those up. This is one like that just comes with the record players, but not every record player these days comes with something like this. So buying something, I mean, maybe somebody in your life isn't buying 45s because they don't really have an effective way to play them if they don't have just the regular record hole in them. This is another one. This is just purely because I'm nostalgic. I like the original. These are from the old record players. This was the one, for those of you who don't know, sit on top. It's got a little mechanism in there that as the needle, the arm, tone arm would swing back if they were electric, it would trigger this little piece in there to move. And so that's where you stacked your 45s and it would drop one down and drop one down. And I just love that kind of stuff. That is, I like having it. I like knowing it's there. Another thing I think that's great for people in your life who are organizers. I am an organizer. I would appreciate Post-its. I use Post-it notes. I use, oh my gosh, where did I put it now? I had it somewhere. Sharpies. I use different types of things like that to keep notes about my collection. I may use Post-its and put them on records as I need to, like this one needs to be cleaned, this whatever, like notes for myself. Oh, here we go. I have bigger Sharpies and things that I use, special pens I write with. Sharpies are great too if I needed to write on my record dividers. Some people use Sharpies and handwrite out everything. Again, I use these for different purposes, but supplies, I guess, is my greater point. I also have a cutter that I use just for records. This one does not go deep. It's very shallow, and when I want to cut through and get plastic off of brand new records, this is what I use because I've slit too many things open in the past. I'm sure you've all been there, and I don't like that. So this has been perfect for me, and opening all the boxes that I get in the mail. I keep all of this stuff in this record. This was actually a Nielsen Schmielsen album that was no longer playable, that had been made into this bowl. There's so many great online tutorials on how to take records like this that you may not be using, that can't be played, and instead of throwing them away, or maybe there's a crack or something, you can turn them into something else. I think finding these, there's a record store that I go to that sells these. And then this is what I keep stuff like this in. So I think finding stuff like this and kind of maybe putting it together as like a little gift set is super cute and fun. And again, not for everybody, but if you like this kind of stuff, I think it's sort of a no-brainer to invest in something like that for sure. The next thing I'm just going to showcase really quick. They're everywhere. I love ornaments, little gift exchanges for people who love records, or you could keep this out all the time. This one I had made last year for our Christmas tree. This looks like a record. There's a little like play buttons below, and there's actually some out there that will play music. This has like one of our favorite Christmas songs written on it. But I think that's just kind of a fun memento, something a little small and sort of personal that I really, really love. The next thing I really want to showcase, again, goes along with storage and keeping things together. I had mentioned using a Sharpie to write on these dividers. You can buy these as sets of like 100 if you have someone in your life who's been wanting to get organized and get their record collection really going. A great winter project would be getting your dividers done for your record collection. This particular one came with stickers. I like to use stickers instead of Sharpies. These are a little big, so I also bought, they're a good size till they aren't, but like if I needed to do Frankie Goes to Hollywood on here, I bought extra stickers too. These came from a craft supply store, so I bought those separate. I also bought larger ones. So bands, I can show you here in a second. Bands like a-ha and the Cars and stuff, which here's my Cars one. I will use larger ones, and I like to change it up. I like it when I use a big letter and a small letter and symbols and whatnot. And but maybe you got record related stickers and emblems and things for specific bands, but how fun is it to just kind of spend that time to customize these types of things? And I think that is always thoughtful, because people don't want to spend money sometimes on that stuff, but once they get using it and see it, and it all gels. It gets pretty exciting. The next thing I'll mention is things for your record albums. Again, if you are in the thick of it, you know this stuff. It's really a no-brainer. Oh my gosh, someone must be thinking of me. My nose is itching. But if you're new, you may not. And then I have a little thing about inner sleeves here, which is just a thought, but also something to think about when you're purchasing even record sleeves for someone. I like to try to get a little bit better grade record sleeve. Not all record sleeves are created equal. Not every company is created equal. I like to use a polypropylene 4mm sleeve, and I'm slowly changing all of my records out to those sleeves. But what I have done in the past, and I pulled 3 Duran Duran records. So this is kind of a traditional sleeve that you may pick up at a record store. They'll sell them in bins, like in bulk, like 10 for $1, 20 for $1, something like that. And that's awesome. If you don't have a huge amount of money to spend and you want to get started, those are really great. But you'll notice those are a little hazier. They don't have the same clarity as a higher mill sleeve will have. So more inexpensive, but not quite as clear. I like my sleeves to be as clear as I can. So I was investing in, this was a 2 mil sleeve. This is a 4 mil sleeve. They may not look too different. Now the colors on all of my Rio albums are different, which is great. But what I will show you is, and why I've started to do a 4 mil, it's a little more rigid. I think it displays nicer when I have them all out. So this is a 4 mil sleeve, and it is just stiffer. You can hear it. You can just see it. It's a lot stiffer feeling. Whereas the 2 mil, although super nice, and I would not discourage anybody from using these either, but it's just a little lighter and flimsier. So as I'm pulling things in and out, I think over time these take a little more wear. And I like the rigidity of these. I think they hold up, or at least in my experience, they seem to hold up a little better. So when I'm giving gifts, I may buy a pack of a better sleeve for somebody, just so they have a chance to try them out for themselves and see. You know, maybe like with record cleaning solutions or anything like that that you purchase, maybe you're in a position where you can buy a couple of different kinds for someone and give them a basket, almost like when someone gets different kinds of coffee or something, everything else to try, different brands to try till you find what you like. It's kind of the same thing for this. You know, maybe Christmas is a great time. Holiday gift giving is a great time to splurge a little and give people a little something extra that they may not get. And so I would always encourage someone to buy record sleeves and things that might be a little better quality. Just, I don't know, it just kind of ups the ante a little bit and shows people what's out there and gives them suggestions. That being said, if you're buying new inner sleeves for your records, of course, the anti-static polyline sleeves are great. These are the paper sleeves. I find these are a good stopgap measure for a couple different things. One, if you have a really older vintage collection, maybe you're giving to somebody. Maybe these are your grandparents' records. Maybe these are older 40s big band records. Like, I'm talking like older media that you have in bulk. And a lot of that stuff you get doesn't always have the sleeves with it anymore, or they're very old sleeves. And if you can't just run out and get polyline sleeves for everything, I would rather have something than have nothing. So I will change those out before I give them to anybody, or even when I add them to my collection, to even just a great paper sleeve. I always keep these on hand. They are available for your 10 inches, they're available for your 12 inches, and for your 7 inches. But the other reason that I'm showing these, and like I said, if you know about record collecting, you're going to get the polylined anti-static sleeves. But what I thought was a fun idea is to make your record your greeting card this year. Maybe you find vintage 45s or 10 inches or 12-inch records that are fun that you can give to friends, family, whatever. Make that your greeting card and write on the inner sleeve a personal message, something specific to that person. Maybe it's a group gift and a lot of people sign it. You could draw art on it, whatever, but you really personalize it that way and make it a little something more. And so every time they look at that record, it reminds them of the gift that you gave them, reminds them of you, and those types of things. So I love adding personal touches like that. And these paper sleeves are inexpensive and a great way to kind of customize it. And to tell you the truth, finding vintage records that are less expensive than some greeting cards is totally plausible. I mean, we've all been there where we found awesome records for under $5. I challenge you to go to the Hallmark store this holiday season and find cards that are not $4, $5, $6, some of them $10, when you can get a record that's playable. You could write something personal in it. I don't know, something to me that speaks to me. I love that kind of thing. And so maybe that gives you guys some ideas. Also, in that same regard, bags. These make wonderful gift bags to give records and record related merchandise in, or anything in for that matter, They will fit record albums. This is from the Sparks concert. This is when we went to see Adam Ant. And then this is from when we went to go see Blondie. A lot of these are also available on these artists' websites too. Or you could find others out and about or make your own. You'll get one that's the size of a record. Maybe you have a Cricut or something older, iron-ons, like band related, or you can draw or people can sign them. But I use these for going to record shows, and I love having these with me. I love being able to just kind of load up. And so if you're a person that is shopping for someone who likes to go to record stores and record shows, these might be great gift ideas. So they're usable to give your gift in, but also usable later, and you can personalize them. And I really, really love that. I also like to make and have record mats. Not everybody has a clean, clear processing table or place to put their records out and clean and do things on. You can buy store-bought ones, of course. There's tons available. I'm just showing these. I make these myself. There's Star Wars. That's kind of an 80s theme. I think there was The Who. Oh, I thought this was cute. That's flannel. It's like little sushi. It has grippers on the back. And so I make these for CDs, for albums. And then they don't slide, but I have an instant place to put my records down, save. So maybe I'm sitting on the floor and I'm cleaning. Maybe I'm at my dining table. I don't have a processing table and bench. So I started making these out of necessity. And so now I make them and I give them to friends and family members and whatever. And I just love making them. I will listen to record albums and make record mats. So there's the one. That's all Marvel characters. So I picked some and done them by theme, sometimes by pattern for the person that I'm making them for. But if you're crafty or you know somebody, and a lot of these things I mentioned too, some of you guys out there have kids. Like, I think these are awesome projects to incorporate record collecting and something for your kids to do or something for you to do or create as a family. So I bring that up because I'm all about incorporating that kind of stuff and getting everybody to do things together. I love to look through eBay and also band websites and find things that are a little bit unique and different. I'm trying to find this here really quick. So for example, and then I'm just mentioning these to maybe spark some ideas for you to think. I would love to have gotten this as a gift. I ended up gifting this to myself, but I went on the website for Love and Rockets. I bought their tour poster for 2024, in part because I was supposed to see them with Jane's Addiction. My concert was one of the last few that got canceled, but my concert date is still there. So that was fun for me. If someone had bought that for me as a gift, I would just be over the moon. Of course, there's concert t-shirts and stuff on all these band websites. This was a piece that I purchased. It is a calendar. This came out and was sent to record shops when Auto American was new. So I love getting things like this, items like this that I can get for somebody, that I can frame for somebody and give as a complete gift. I really, really, really love. With that in mind, you can get these album frames. I have bought these at, craft and hobby stores. I think this actually is one. I have found these at Goodwill stores too. So instead of paying $10, $12, $15 for a frame, I've been able to pick them up for anywhere from $1 to $2. So it's great if you've got a record that's scratched. If somebody has a favorite album cover, for instance, you could just frame that and keep the records separate from it, or preserve something that's maybe a little more meaningful. I do have one that is a Cramps record. It's a collector sleeve. The album is so, but I want to keep the album cover nice, and I like to see it, so I display it that way. So I'm sure you know people that would apply to also. That being said, frames for posters, concert posters. I have a lot of posters up down here in my record room. Some of them are posters from when I was a kid. I mean, obviously, if you're buying a gift for someone in your life, you're going to know if they maybe had an original poster from when they were little, or a concert that they went to that needs to be framed and can be seen. So I think that's super thoughtful. You probably can't see it 100%. I didn't bring them down. It's kind of precarious up there on my shelf. I have shadow boxes with concert tickets, concert buttons. I used to wear band buttons as a teenager, and I always bought buttons. Those are all on display up there. So buying those types of things, maybe putting that together for the person in your life if you're in the same house and you have access to that stuff. And of course, they aren't going to mind you doing that. But being thoughtful enough to either buy them what they need to make that happen or do it for them and wrap it up and give them as a gift, I think is great if it's within the realm of reason. And then the last things I want to showcase really quick would have to do with books and gifts. I love, of course, I'm a comic book collector. If you have someone in your life or someone in your life who loves to collect things to do with music, but they want something a little different, I think finding some of these comic books, this came from a Blondie concert. They sell it on their website. It was made specifically for their tour. I mean, if you bought this original Joan Jett record, included this with it, maybe they're a Joan Jett fan, whatever. This was a variant by Dan Parent as Veronica as Joan Jett. So I love, love, love that. You buy the DVD and the comic or a book or something. This is all music related. Finding a lot of this vintage stuff would be great. I bet you that if you have a person in your life who's a record collector, they might also still watch VHS tapes or DVDs. I mean, not everybody's streaming or doing that stuff. So finding some of these types of things, I think, is just a ton of fun. And I think anybody who likes vintage anything would probably totally appreciate. That in mind, too, I love to get books. I'm a book person. These, of course, are just quick suggestions, different types of books. As a teenager, I remember making a fan magazine with my girlfriend about Duran Duran, and we used to send it out. This is called a Xerox machine. I say that because that's why this book was of interest to me, because I like fanzines a lot. This is about punk, post-punk, and fanzines in Britain from 76 to 88. So it's a history of those. Again, it's called Xerox machine, but it gives you just, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like any type of, total write-ups, but also some visual examples of some of these really great fanzines that came out of the time. So I found that super interesting. If you have an audiophile in your life, I have said I'm not necessarily an audiophile, but this book by Garrett Hongo called The Perfect Sound was a really, really cool book. This is a memoir that he wrote about his own personal sound journey. So it not only talks about him personally, the things about his history and his family that he uncovers, but also his love for the perfect sound and his desire to find, collect, use, discover, uncover, understand audio equipment. So from his Empire turntable that his dad had in the 1960s all the way through to when he's getting CDs and CD players and trying to find amplifiers and stereo equipment that made the sound the way he wanted it. He talks about vacuum tubes and vintage vinyl. He talks to people who created audio equipment. I mean, he kind of runs the gambit. It is a thick book. He has some wonderful visual photographs in here. My grandfather was a collector of vacuum tubes and video tubes, and so it kind of spoke to me. I was really interested, but just a lot of history. If you have not read this book already, if you are into this type of thing or know someone who is, I think it's a pretty cool book. And again, I'm not an audiophile, but I like to learn. I like to kind of research things and learn the ins and outs of things. So it spoke to me that way. But if I can find it interesting, but if I was even more of an audiophile, you might even really, really love it. So I thought I would mention that because you don't always think about those types of books either. It's usually things like, 50, 100 greatest album covers or something like that. But there's so much more out there to draw from in the world of music and this hobby. So I also think the story of CBGBs, I picked one of these up. I love this type of stuff, the history of punk, all books I love. Fixins of Vinyl was I always kind of think this is like a mini coffee table book. It just has all these beautiful images in it of artwork and things from album covers from 50s and 60s. And so just stuff that I really, really love. I love pinup style. So for me, this was kind of a no-brainer. So biographies and things. This one was autographed by Budgie. This came from Premier Collectibles. I'd mentioned having autographed books that I've purchased from the artist websites in the past. So it's a little something extra. My husband had got a autographed copy of a Debbie Harry autobiography for me. So I don't know. I just think it's just a little extra, and I like that. It makes the gift a little special. Then it's not just a book; it's an autographed copy of the book. And this is a great book, by the way. It's quite an emotional discovery. If you're into Susie and the Banshees or the Creatures and you like Budgie, I definitely say check that book out. Finally, the last, this is kind of a self, I feel like lately I can't mention any episode without mentioning Debbie Harry's Cuckoo, but this is a puzzle. So this is for the album cover of Cuckoo, but I bet you there's puzzles out there with, that are all cassette tapes, all album covers, the spines of albums. If you are wanting to do something as a family over the holidays or in the wintertime, I think puzzles are great. Legos are great. They have those turntable Legos out, radio equipment Legos. Like, that's fun to do. And then I like a good art book too. This, of course, is about Debbie Harry's Cuckoo, put out by Chris Stein. It is all the photographic outtakes that he took their time with H.H. Giger as they went through that kind of odyssey of creating Cuckoo and the visual imagery that he brought to that project. But I love books like this, and I know there's tons of things available at bookstores or in other places that you could find that speak to you and the music that you love. Lastly, I think a subscription to an actual tangible magazine or something that people love and love to read, if you are a person or know of somebody who likes that type of thing, is kind of priceless because it's expensive. And if you live in a smaller community and you can't get to a Barnes and Noble or wherever they might be selling this stuff, it's not easy to get. And then you have to pay shipping and so I think that's kind of cool. So I'm a big fan. I love Data, Rare Record Price Guide. This is put out by Record Collector in England. It is data filled, right? This is the 18th edition. It will change. It's purely rare records. A lot of British market, everything's in pounds. So it's very kind of a little bit more specific. I enjoy stuff like that, but I mention it because it piggybacks to Record Collector magazine, which does come from the UK. If getting a subscription to this magazine is not cheap, but it's kind of fun. And it talks a lot about, collecting records, and there's a lot of data and information and just different. I mean, here's UK stamps, records and collecting and who knows, but there's just always some kind of information. I find it fun and fascinating. I like to have things like that I can hold and read. And the last one I'll bring up, which is not, your typical Rolling Stone, is classic pop. If you are a person or know of a person who loves vintage 80s music, pop, punk, post-punk, and even into the 90s, classic pop is just killer. This one had Spandau Ballet on it. Of course, this is the newest issue that's current as of right now, where they discuss and go in depth into the Power Station, which I find awesome. Classic moments. They even do countdowns in this magazine of new releases, but also things that were top 25 records of 1985, or they'll have specialty sections. So I think this is a ton of fun. I think it's a thoughtful gift if you have a reader in your life, a record collector in your life, a music fan, a vintage fan, a pop culture fan. I think all of that stuff is just a home run. And I hope you guys maybe agree. Do you see anything that I showed today that you were like, wow, I hadn't thought of that, or that might be kind of cool or fun? If so, write it in the comments below. Do you make anything personalized for the holidays? There's so much out there. I didn't tap into nearly everything that I could have. I try to keep it at about 30 minutes. It looks like I'm probably going to be a little over time, but gift giving can be so specific and personalized and different for everybody. And that's what makes it unique and fun. And I do like to add a little something special and personal. Handmade is great. Getting your kids involved is fun. And it kind of brings the whole hobby full circle. And I just really love that. So again, anything you can contribute below. I always love to hear your comments. If you have not hit like and subscribe, please do so. I appreciate it. And I would love to have everybody be a part of the Jen's Addiction family. It would be a wonderful, wonderful Christmas gift to me. So anyway, that being said, I think I'm losing my mind. I think it's these horns. Do you think it's these horns? Maybe I should wear these all the time. You know, I don't know that I'll do an annual Christmas thing, but this, I don't know, I kind of dig the horns. Tell me what you think. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm like Bullwinkle's crazy sister. I don't know. But until next time, you guys, I hope you're all spinning some great tunes. You're having a wonderful holiday, however you spend it, and that you are all getting some wonderful gifts for yourself or for others around you. Have a happy holiday. Stay healthy, stay safe, and above all, just have fun. Enjoy what you love. Enjoy the people around you. Enjoy the music. Take care. Bye-bye.